Hey there, Dream Chasers. This is Hannah Pryde, and welcome to Pryde Shine, your dedicated podcast where we explore the influencers and innovators of Dubai. Proudly sponsored by Pryde Migration, your dedicated partner for moving to Dubai. Welcome, Alex Steele.
Oh, thanks for having me.
I love it. Quick intro. Alex Steele owns the most fantastic entertainment company in Dubai.
Oh, thank you.
Luxe Lounge Entertainment.
Yes.
She has got dancers strutting their stuff around the city.
Yes.
She struts her stuff. So tell us, how did you get into it? How did it all start?
Oh, gosh. So I've been in Dubai about 4 years now, but my journey actually started after being in Dubai for 4 weeks. So like many people at the time, I came during sort of COVID times and came on holiday for a month and then decided I didn't really want to go back to the rain. So here we are, carried on. And at the time I was getting furloughed from the cruise ships that I was dancing on. And then my friend who I knew from the UK, Lexie, decided to come out as well. And then after deciding to stay, they then decided they were going to stop entertainment in Dubai because of all the rules with COVID and everything. So then I couldn't work. So we were thinking, oh God, what are we going to do now? So just by chance that Lexie had also decided to stay, and she had previously had the company registered in the UK, but stopped it because of tax and time and all these sorts of things. So we sort of decided, we had the branding, we had the logo, we had the website, why not just do it together and start it over here? So that's how it all started spiraling. And I think also once entertainment came back and we were working separately on our own projects, it was really important that there was two of us to manage the time that it takes, obviously, especially in the beginnings of opening a company.
Mm-hmm. So obviously we moved to Dubai at the same time. I think everyone in COVID moved here, got a taste for the sunshine. Genuinely. Yeah. No one's left since. It's crazy.
Left. But I don't know how we get anything done because especially at that time when hardly anyone was working, everyone was out, but then again everyone was socialising, so I think that also sparks a lot of connections and probably is the reason some of us are where we are now.
Legit, that's what every guest I've had on, we've said it, Dubai is the best place for networking. Massively, and especially if you came during that COVID time. Like we met, I think it was on a party or a yacht party. Like,
do you know, I was thinking this earlier, the people I'm still friends with now, I actually don't really know how I met them.
I just remember dancing on tables with you at that villa party in like the middle of nowhere. Genuinely, one time I was like, oh my God, you're going to be my new best friend.
That was it.
And that's 4 years later. And I feel like so everyone that's lasted has now all got their own business and has formed these amazing connections and relationships that we're now all bouncing off each other, and everyone's business is thriving, especially within this, at the time, scary environment. You're setting up a company when there was no entertainment allowed. Yeah. And now look, 4 years on, you've got dancers everywhere.
Oh, it seems a bit surreal when you put it like that, really. I think but it was in some ways it was maybe easier for us because we didn't necessarily have to create a company in terms of people. So it was just myself and my business partner. And like you were mentioning with the connections, we were meeting people out and about, and then they would say, oh, we're having this party or this event, and can you do the entertainment? And then at that point we were doing like a case-by-case basis. We'd met dancers, Lexie knew singers, and then we were recruiting people on a job-by-job basis. So we didn't have the pressure of salaries to pay other people, it was purely our own,
100%.
Just us.
And that's the thing that a lot of people make the mistake with. I personally think when setting up a business, they aren't as lean as they need to be at the start. They're too busy trying to grow. And I actually listened to something recently that they say you should grow a business 2, 4, 8, 30, and it's how you scale it fast without having without it being too big, like having random people that you shouldn't really be paying for. Outsource, contract, use these websites that you can get cheaper labour that are still really good for a one-off job, whether it be admin, rather than hiring that as a full-time role. And I think that's something me and you resonate off a lot. We're both you've got Lexie, but I've been a one-man band.
Independent,
Legit. And I think if I hadn't done that at the start, I wouldn't be here today. It's only now a year on that I've now started hiring the marketing and getting a PA, etc. But that's taken me a year to get to that point. I would work, outsource everything I could. I even done my own website just to save money. Whereas that's where I think cash flow is such a big thing when it comes to businesses, and we all forget about it.
Massively. And I think like at the start, obviously, like you said, you start small and then you grow. And we've been registered now for, I think, 2 years. They're going into our 3rd year. And only now we've started to bring somebody else on board to help manage our events, because as they're growing, summer as well is a big dip for us, and Ramadan, of course, we dropped down.
Yeah.
But now, like you said, especially with tax coming in and like corporation tax, VAT, these are things, I don't have a clue how to do. I don't have the time, to be honest, I just don't want to. So yeah, we've now got an accountant and things, and people helping us manage other events, because obviously there's only 2 of us, you can't be in 10 places at once.
100%. And everyone has a lot to say about this tax, and they're like, it used to be tax free. When you look at it in the grand scheme of things, it's only 9% tax
compared to the UK.
I know.
I'll take it.
No, genuinely, it's only 9% over it's $100,000, so 367,000 dirhams or something approximately. But what that is, and I say it to all my clients, the best thing that is for you is if you ever decide to sell your company in years to come, your company is then going to be a lot more, it's going to be a lot more easier to read, because you've paid tax. It's a lot more legitimate, because usually if you see investors that are looking, or these big firms that look to buy businesses, they usually focus on America, then Canada, UK, etc. Because they've got a established banking system. Dubai never had that, and it just shows the leap towards what Dubai's moving. They're becoming 100%. A lot more legitimate, a lot more business friendly, although we don't like paying it. In the long run, it's really going to benefit us.
And I think you mentioned cash flow a minute ago, but I think also it ties in, like for us personally, I like to see it going in this direction, because there are going to be more rules and regulations. Because, for example, we worked for a company that we partnered with, and we were doing 5 events a week. I won't name names. But long short, they ended up owing us 100,000 dirhams.
Oh, my goodness.
And for us, we like to pay, because myself and Lexie were both artists in the UK. So we were trained to a high standard, and we hold ourselves to that as well. And so we took it upon ourselves. We were moving money from our own bank accounts to ensure that we could pay our artists, even though the clients hadn't been paying us. And that was over Christmas and New Year, when fees for artists are a lot more. And that was like quite a big hit for us, and quite a big realisation that the sort of rules and regulation, you wouldn't get away with doing that in England.
Not at all.
So that was a big learning curve for us.
It's like a step in the right direction, I personally think. And I think in the last 4 years especially, we've all had those horror stories when you move to Dubai. Everyone's been scammed, whether it be an apartment, whether it be not being paid, whether it be in a fake job. Everyone's had them. But I do think now we're hearing less and less of them, because now Dubai is becoming this a lot more secure and business-friendly place, and a lot more people are being able to trust it, because there's a lot more legislation, rules and policies in place that are actually a lot more workable for expats. I think before COVID, it was a lot of businesses paying for people's rent for the year, but since COVID, it's a lot more independent people moving here. So people were getting the piss taken out of them.
I know, and I think as well, because before I decided to come here on holiday, I was looking at how I could apply for jobs and things. Obviously, it was COVID, and I think maybe that was a turning point where a lot of companies, like you said, they used to fly people out and pay for accommodation and things like that. And then I think everyone decided to come during COVID and have stayed. So now there's a lot more people already based here.
Yeah, 100%.
And like you said, that flights and accommodation and outsourcing people to come is less of a thing now.
It's so much less of a thing. And I think the people are here, you resonate again with this, is we were really young when we came, very young. And now look at us, we're both like on this big business journey, which can be so daunting as a young person. But the only good thing about it is we've got so many people around us that are on the same journey, and they're so excited, motivated, and they're all chasing it. It's like, we're like, oh, it's fine, we're all in the same boat. We'll all turn to each other. Whereas if you were to do it back in the UK, you're always looking at your elders, it's not your peers.
You're always looking at who's better than you, and then when you do well, people get jealous, or I think it's it's dog eat dog here anyway. I think there's a lot of competition, especially in the industry that I'm in as well. But in general, like you said, you'll meet someone and they're like, oh, well, I know this person and they are doing this and they want to help you do that. And I did, I was filming for the Dubai Expo advert way back. This was pre-COVID, this was in 2019 in London. And I met a guy who basically does all I think it was marketing and advertising for Emirates.
Amazing.
And then since coming here, we didn't speak for a year or so. And then he reached out to me on Instagram and said, hey, are you still in Dubai? I need someone to come and shoot the new Emirates commercial.
Amazing.
So next thing I was off to the Emirates training school, like the red lipstick and the hats and everything, and ended up shooting with Penelope Cruz. So
oh my goodness,
it was such a
girl. You've been there, done it.
Come fly with me anytime.
Crazy.
But just literally by meeting one person, like you said, and then it just rolls. And I think people really do want to help you here.
They do, 100%. And what was the benefit? So obviously, for people that don't know your journey, you left school, you went to dance school.
Yeah.
How long were you there for?
So I did 1 year in a dance school called Bird College. I then had a back injury, and also, if I'm honest with myself, was kind of in a relationship at the time and thought, it was long distance. I didn't want to be in London, and anyway. So I had a year off. I then went back to another dance school called London Studio Centre, where I did 3 years. I trained in musical theatre, so singing, acting, dancing, the whole lot. And then shortly after I graduated, I got my first contract on a cruise ship. So off I went to LA, did 2 months of rehearsals there, and then bang, literally was supposed to fly to Singapore to join the ship and had to fly back to England because of COVID.
Really?
So that, I think, was a big turning point for me, where I literally worked so hard, got my dream job on the cruise ship, moved to LA, moved out, and within 2 months I was back. Gone. But, you know, what can you do? Everyone was in the same position.
Genuinely everyone. I was actually meant to move to Japan the weekend of lockdown.
Wow.
And
I was supposed to be in Japan. Yeah. Like, that was Singapore, Japan, that area.
That is so crazy, because that's like the red line, what is it, the red string effect. Like, we met in Dubai, but we could have met in Japan
somewhere else.
If we were both meant to be there, if that was your path
crazy,
as well.
isn't
That's
it?
wild. But yeah, no. And if you were to look back, what was the best bit of experience from that journey to where you are now, obviously as a business owner? Where did you learn the most, or where do you think you got you obviously got your skill of dancing. Yeah. Where do you think you've picked up the transferable skill of putting it into a business?
Well, I think it teaches a lot of discipline. It teaches a lot of self-sufficiency. You know, you always had to be up in the morning. It was ballet first thing. Hair and makeup had to be done. You had to look presentable. But London Studio Centre was also quite relaxed in the sense that if you didn't come, you know, no one's going to chase you. Yeah. It's like, because they were preparing you for the real world. In an audition, you know, if you don't turn up, you're not going to get the job. So you have to be there, you have to be early. And I was auditioning against 800 other people in the room, like 800 girls all competing, and 6 of us got to the end. So I've always had that competitive nature, and also I feel like being told no doesn't faze me, because, you know, so in my industry, if you're not blonde, maybe you didn't get the job, or if you weren't tall enough, you didn't get the job. It's not necessarily your talent, it's sometimes your looks in what we do. So I think in that sense, I've got like the competitiveness, I've got the discipline. Although, like, obviously time management is quite hard when you're trying to run a personal life, a social life, a business life, go to the gym, drink some water.
I mean, I sometimes don't know how you do it. Alex gets in at 4 or 5 in the morning sometimes, doing her shows, running her business and all her contractors, artists around Dubai, then come home and it's happy family. Like, I'm like, are you a Duracell battery?
I think I should be sponsored by C4, by the way. So if you're listening, I want to be sponsored by it.
No,
or maybe I'll create C5. That's what I need sometimes.
No, genuinely, you must be bouncing off the walls at times, but you've absolutely smashed it. And what have been your biggest challenges setting up your business in Dubai? Obviously, we've really focused on the network and all the opportunities it's faced, but what would you say is your biggest challenge setting up as like being young within a foreign country?
So the biggest challenge, obviously we touched on money earlier, but hopefully that will improve over time. Chasing payments, making sure the artists get paid. And then also in relation to that is obviously the clients that you get depend on a lot of things. However, now in Dubai, like in a lot of places, there's a lot of artists who are not working for a lot of money. Know your worth. But it's like any job, I guess. If you're new in a role, you're not going to be being paid as the same as the managing director. But I think people seem to just think dancing or performing or singing is just like la-di-da, like what a nice life. But they don't realise the hours that you train and you put into it. And also, you know, when you're self-employed, you don't have anything to fall back on. You don't have anyone else to help you out, you know. So I think getting people to understand that paying someone 400 dirhams to give you their time and provide costumes and plan everything, make sure everything's running right, it's like, it's not okay.
Not at all.
And so that also relates to obviously budget and fees. Like that's always this fees this, because we say, you know, what's your budget? They say, well, give us your fees, and then you don't want to quote them too high, but you don't want to undersell. And I think that's always the game between the artists and the clients. So that's always a challenge, especially when it's so time consuming. Like we've done music videos with quite some big artists based here or around the UAE.
You've had some crazy opportunities. Just wait, hold off. Say who you have danced for and who you've been in the background and everything, because you've had some amazing opportunities since being in Dubai with these global artists.
Yeah, so it's again, just completely random. I had a call one day and someone said, so-and-so recommended you. Would you be interested to come and dance for this concert show for a guy called Saad? I don't think they even told me. I think I was just put in the WhatsApp group. So I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. So I did the rehearsals, and it was at the address in the marina, I think. Like the pool, it was like on the pool area. We had a stage built. Anyway, so we've done all the rehearsals. I rock up. I don't really know who this guy is. And then there's like crowds, there's security, there's people like waiting for a signature and all these things. I'm thinking, what is going on? And the guy was called Saad Lamjarad. Sorry for my pronunciation. It's not great, from very English. But so really, really great show. And I think that was probably one of the highlights of my career, because I know not necessarily that people were coming to see the dancers, but the fact that we were part of that, and like the buzz you get of the performance was amazing. And I ended up building a really good relationship with all the team, and that then led to us performing at Global Village. I've done Saudi, Turkey, Egypt, Lebanon, Qatar.
Wow.
So I've been all over with, like, we've really done a nice little tour, and it was just, I've worked with other artists and other people that really almost look down on you or don't want to know you, and like on film shoots and stuff when you're just completely like nobody. Yeah. But him and his whole team, to be honest, the musicians, everyone was like family, and
so
just
amazing.
had the best time.
I mean, it must be the most exciting thing for you now that like all the COVID restrictions and everything are gone. And we forget COVID was 4 years ago, but I think we're really starting to see Dubai come back to how it is. You're getting these nights that girls drink free again. You're getting...
I know, guys, if there's a place to be unemployed, if you're a girl, it's Dubai, because you get free dinner, free drinks, free gym classes.
But for you, it's even better because they need entertainment at all these places. Yeah. With a city which is filled of so many events. There's a Coca-Cola arena, there's... Expo, there's I swear there's a DJ, a singer, a rapper.
Oh, it's non-stop.
All the time. Yeah. I've never known some place which is so small to have so many things, entertainment every single week, plus your brunches, plus
brunches,
everything in between.
Pool parties,
genuinely. So I think for you as a business and what you're providing, there's so many opportunities here. Then you've got access to them all. It's the world's your oyster, and I think people don't understand when they go to watch these performances within these restaurants and bars and nightclubs and whatnot, the background, and I want you to touch on it, because you do everything. You do the choreography, you do the sourcing, you do the the costume making, absolutely everything.
Yeah, so again, we've just now started outsourcing this because we want to keep building the reputation and having it on a higher level. For example, we've paid DJs to mix tracks for like 10-minute sets for our dance performances. We've hired in different choreographers because, again, it's very time consuming. I think people don't realise that. So, for example, the dancers learnt 3 10-minute sets of 10-minute routines, and that was 8 hours of rehearsals. Because when you think you have to go over it and over it and over it, so you remember it, so it's in your body, so it looks strong, so you can do it in heels. And then again, the costumes, a lot of, we've just started working with Savahe, which is an international brand. And they actually were sending us designs. So we had all of those costumes custom made, big headdresses and feathers.
The full glitz.
Yeah.
What Dubai is all about.
For sure. And then singers and bands, that's actually really a nice part of our job because it's so easy. Yeah. You know, you book the band or you find the singers or you piece everyone together and they can just turn up and do their job. Other than a sound check, obviously we help them out with. But yeah, when it comes to the dancers and the other performances, then it's everything: costumes, choreography, music, rehearsals. It's
crazy. And if you were to go back and do anything different over the last 4 years you've been running this business, is there anything that you've maybe learned from as like a young entrepreneur?
Well, had I known, I probably would have got you to open our company. To be honest, I think no. I don't think I ever would change anything because we've learned a lot of lessons on the way. 100%. We've had people that were close to us that have gone direct to clients or vice versa, so that's also been a learning curve. You know, contracts and things we've brought into place because I think it's so easy to feel like a false sense of security. You know, everyone 100%. Wants to help, and then one thing they're in, and then next thing they're against you.
And do you know the thing is, being a young entrepreneur, I always say to people, it's never a failure, it's always a lesson.
Yeah, always, as long as you do learn from it.
Exactly. Don't let the same mistake happen twice. Yeah. And I just think you have to be ballsy. One thing that you've done is developed this skill from what tiny age, from 1 year old you've probably been dancing.
Yeah, 2 or 3 I think.
And now you've set up this business which is growing arms, legs, and you've had amazing opportunities that you're now getting to reap the rewards of something that you're probably able to take a little bit step back off and do the background work, do the choreography, can't pronounce it. Do you know what I mean? But all the nice side of it now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So for you, you've had failures from the start when you couldn't do a pirouette for the first time. To now,
for sure.
You'll probably be doing, hopefully, stages of the Coca-Cola arena in Dubai.
Yeah. Well, actually, so my business partner Lexie, the singer, she's coming back soon, and she's gonna be working on her own show for a concert, because she would like to obviously be up there on the Coca-Cola arena.
Yeah.
So I'll be dancing for her, but she's designed her own costumes, and she really wants to take her career individually to that level as well.
Of course.
But it's nice that we can, her career as a singer and my career as a dancer and fire performer links so well with our business. Because I think as well, sometimes people who have an entertainment company but haven't actually done it from the start don't have the passion or the drive or the knowledge or the understanding that and this is why we don't want to drop our fees. We just want to, if you can't pay, you can't pay it, and go with someone else. But I don't want to put our name to something that's not to the standard that we hold ourselves to.
You've not put your heart and soul into it, and I think it really reaps through. I touch on this a lot with people. If something is your passion and something you believe in it so much, everything is to the 100% the best of your ability. There's no cut corners. Everything looks, you can tell someone lives and breathes it. And I think that always is so much better than someone that's just, that's a good business idea, let me put a little bit of money into that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I do think it's probably something people should focus on more, rather than just going with the status quo. If you can find something that you're passionate about, what you were able to do with dancing, and follow it through, you can make money off of anything if it's a passion.
Yeah, I just don't understand why everyone doesn't have their own business. Like the thought for me now of going to work for someone else, like I've thought, maybe real estate or this or that or what else, because obviously dancing has a time life on it. Also, that's another bonus for our company, because it's something that has longevity for us. We can hire other people, but
I mean, in the long run, me thinking here, you could scale it. You could dance.
Maldives is my next, after my recent trip to the Maldives. That's where I'm looking to expand next. So I've reached out to the GM of a few venues there.
You could scale it globally. You could put an infographic. No, it's info. Can't remember the word. Where you make like dance routines. You could show these things and you could sell them, rather than them always like what we're saying.
Then having to do it physically. Yeah.
You could outsource doing choreography, so make these routines and sell it to other entertainment places around the world. There's so many business opportunities within it, and I think that's the thing that we're going back to the point is, if you find your passion, if you live and breathe it, there's opportunities that keep growing. I don't care what anyone says, it's when someone's only half-heartedly into something, that's when they fall off the bandwagon.
It doesn't grow, and I think someone said to me once, most small businesses, if they're going to fail, they'll quit within the first 5 years.
100%.
So, because there's hard times, and then you think, I can't do it, and like we were talking about time management, sometimes it comes too much, or you're, like you said, you're not passionate about it enough to do all the hard work and the late hours and the long days. So,
I think that's the thing, people only see the high life. People
the
only
high
see
life,
the holidays. They don't see the tears and everything in the background. They only ever see,
the best parts.
Genuinely. And I do think that's one thing we probably both be able to give that as advice, is to any young entrepreneur, is know that it isn't going to be straightforward, and know that you're going to have to live and breathe it, and there's going to be ups, and the lows are going to be so low, and the highs are going to be so high, because
so rewarding.
You'll know yourself.
But it makes it rewarding, right? If you hit rock bottom and then you have the rewards of something going really well, then 100%. You're like, right, this is why I'm doing it.
And I feel like when you wake up and all you think about is getting to that goal, and then that day arrives, like, oh my God, the relief, the excitement. It's not that you're working for someone else's passion, it's your passion, it's your vision. It's
and no one cares about it as much as you do.
100%. No one ever will care about it as much as you do. Last question, I'm going to finish it up on.
Go on.
If you were to give advice to any other young entrepreneur moving to Dubai, what would it be?
Do it. Just do it. I think especially if you're planning to open your own business or your own company or something, it can be very daunting, which is what I think I didn't have to deal with because I came on holiday and just never left. So I think when you're thinking about planning to move your whole life over here, I would just do it. I would definitely recommend speaking to yourself, Hannah, and getting some advice, because I know you do like the visas, you do startups, you do, even real estate. So you can literally open your business, get your visa and your property
that
with you.
Shop.
Yeah, the one-stop shop. But getting advice, and I think getting yourself yourself out there. I think definitely if you have a social personality, then Dubai is right for you. I think
100%. Network.
Yeah.
And always,
you never know.
Exactly. I always say to people, there's never too many questions asked, and the more people you can sit in front of and have these conversations with, do it.
And you learn from as well, 100%. Don't you?
And I think that's what most people are a bit scared of, is failing. And I'm like, you've never failed. It's just you've made a lesson, and you've
only failed if you don't try.
Exactly.
I like that saying.
I love that saying. Well, do you know what? We'll leave on that. Thank you so much for coming.
It's been great. Thank you.
Bye now.
See you.